Okay, everyone, welcome back to Black Carnivore. I am A-Day, otherwise known as Black Carnivore, and here we do all things carnivore for the culture. So I am excited to have you here today and just have a chance to talk. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me, or something like that. I want to make sure I got the sound right, but I think it should be okay. So, today I wanted to do another Q&A because I think, we have a lot of new people in the Facebook group, and, there's just a lot of people jumping on and trying carnivore. I hear a lot of people doing these like 1 week challenges to try carnivore, which I think is absolutely awesome, and I love that. But sometimes, I think that there's not always great information sort of disseminated in the community about how to do carnivore most effectively. So I want to make sure to answer some of those questions, dispel some of those myths, and make sure everybody is good to go. Okay, so we have a bunch of people here. Yes, and you can hear me, Jocelyn. That's awesome, Mr. Bogglesworth. Oh my God, it's great to see you. You weren't here last week, I think, right? Or you came late. I'm glad to see you though, and really excited you're here. Vinette, awesome, you are here. I'm really excited. I reached out to you, but I didn't get a text back. So let me know if maybe I've got the wrong contact information, but definitely send me a message. Dion, hi, welcome, hello, how are you? So tell me, if you are new to carnivore, put it in the chat box. I'd love to know, how many newbies and how many vets we have here, and, we'll go from there. So to start off with, let me just sort of run down the way I have been approaching carnivore, and then, we'll go from there. So I think that an easy way to kind of look at it and talk about it is to give you 3 different categories. And so strict carnivore, moderate carnivore, and relaxed carnivore. So in strict carnivore, you are eating exclusively from the animal kingdom. So that means eggs, meat, fish, dairy even, butter, tallow, any of those things. All of those things are fine. And then if you are doing moderate carnivore, you might be adding in coffee, herbs and spices. You might add in some low sugar fruits like avocados or olives. And then if you are doing relaxed carnivore, that would mean you're adding in things like artificial sweetener. Or maybe you will have some vegetables. Like if you go out to a restaurant and a side comes, you might eat the vegetables. That's kind of the way that I approach it. Dairy is one of those things I put a big asterisk on. So yes, it's an animal product, but yes, it also is a problem for a lot of people. So if you are one of those people for whom it's a problem, I would recommend that you don't eat it. And I really think that everyone should start out without eating it, see how you do, and then if you are fine, you can always bring it back. But if you never take it out, you won't know whether, you won't know how much better you might feel. So, give it a try, dairy free. But, and eggs is another one of those that can be tricky for people. So, you want to pay attention, of course, to your own personal food sensitivities, because that's going to, of course, impact your results. So that's kind of how I look at it. And then I know we got a question about honey. Again, I think that, that really kind of depends on your goals and you as a person. So if you're trying to get control of your blood sugar, don't have honey. That's not going to help you. If you're at the weight you want to be and you just want to eat carnivore and maintenance, then it's probably fine. If you are a sugar addict, then you don't have honey. That's going to be a massive problem. So I would kind of use that determination to decide whether you're going to have honey, not whether it's carnivore or not. So I mean, I guess you can argue it's carnivore, it's, a unmentionable bee product, but The bigger question is it going to impact your health in a positive, negative, or neutral way? And, that's the part that is, I think most meaningful. So I would use that as your guide. Okay, so wow, we got a lot of comments here. Okay. Diana, you are 2 months in. That is awesome. Congratulations. I am really, really impressed. That's awesome. Let's see. Jimmy ZC is here. Awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. Large picture. Hey, so glad you are here. And ribs. You're having ribs today. That's awesome. No need to apologize about your excitement over ribs. I had flank and cut short ribs for breakfast and for lunch. And who knows? I might have again for dinner. I don't know. They are that good. Let's see, Paul BC, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. So you're from Florida and now, new on the carnivore diet for 2 weeks and 3 days. Amazing. Tell me, Paul, how are you feeling? Put it in the chat. I'd love to hear. 2 weeks is definitely enough time to start noticing, differences. So I'd love to hear what you're noticing. And Vinette took out dairy for the last 5 days and your swelling has gone down. Yes. Yeah. So I know the dairy news is not news anyone wants to hear. Almost everybody loves cheese, loves, heavy whipping cream. It is a delight to be able to add back these fatty foods without feeling guilty. And, I totally hear what you're saying. I feel your pain. Like I loved it too. And I ate a lot of cheese. But for some people, it can be a problem. It can, promote inflammation wherever you're prone to inflammation. So for me, it was asthma, so my lungs. For someone else, it might be joint pain. For someone else, it might be mental health stuff, because your mental health is impacted by inflammation that's, going on in your brain. So, the dairy can contribute to that as well. So I recommend you just, try and see what happens. And if you find a lot of improvement, then, it's on you to decide how you want to proceed. Asthma, of course, is a very big deal and can be quite dangerous. So once I, discovered the connection, I really couldn't justify going back to incorporating dairy. Because I haven't used an asthma inhaler now since I quit dairy, but I would definitely not want to have to start using an asthma inhaler again. So for me, it's worth it to just swear it off and not even entertain eating it again. Let's see. So those are things to think about. Now, the other thing I wanted to say about getting started on carnivore is that I really do think that this is it's a lifestyle. This is a way of eating and conducting yourself for the rest of your life. And I think that it is incredibly healthy and probably will extend your life and certainly extend the strong, healthy portion of your life. I definitely, I turned 50 yesterday and as I said, I'm officially middle-aged since I'm planning to live to 100. But I really don't want, my last 25 years to be full of, or for that matter, my last 50 years to be full of, aches and pains and medications and prescriptions and doctor's appointments and chronic disease and things getting worse and worse and surgeries and all of that. And I do think that the carnivore diet can help you to avoid that. So, of course, we are all going to die someday. But I would like it to not be, a long and painful process. And I think that we can't avoid that. So that being said, the carnivore diet really is a lifestyle. But I do think you have to make sure that the diet fits into your lifestyle, not try to make your lifestyle fit into, a rigid diet. So for that reason, that's why I say you should just... you've got to ease into it and kind of figure out what you like, what are the things that you want to be eating, how do you want to be eating, and feel your way through that way. And and that's kind of, I mean, that's always my approach, but I like to help people figure that out, because it's this isn't a short-term fix. This isn't something you're going to do for a little while and and then give it up, because this really does change your life, and it changes your health. And I'd love to hear your, whatever your transformation stories have been. I've told you I lost weight, I've lost my asthma, my allergies, like my energy skyrocketed, my mental health got way better, like all of these things happened. And, nobody believes it will happen to them, but it really does. Really. Okay, let's see. Jimmy ZC says, dairy will definitely stall my weight loss. I had to stop. Yeah, that can happen too. Absolutely. Paul BC says, I notice I have more energy and mental clarity. That is like the number one thing I hear from people who go on carnivore, even before seeing weight loss and stuff like that. It really is like the energy and the mental health and the mental clarity. And that is, just such a delightful feeling. Like, it's really nice to be clear-headed at 3 p.m, to, not be like, jonesing for some chocolate or barely able to stay awake. It's really amazing to be as energetic at the end of the day as you were in the beginning of the day. And that definitely was new for me. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. And any other questions? I'd love to, answer your questions and help you to, do better. Some of the things I often hear are, what kinds of foods do you eat on carnivore? I see, one of the things that people think when they come to this way of eating is that you just eat steak. And, many people love steak, so initially there's no quibble about that, but then later on people kind of, balk at the idea of just eating steak. And it's really important to know that there's a lot of things that you can eat. It is not just steak. And I really want to encourage people to try a lot of different foods. And that's why, when I talk about it in my videos, but also when I work with coaching clients, I really kind of try to give examples and talk about all the different types of food that you can eat, so that you don't kind of get stuck in a hamburger and bacon route. Hamburger and bacon is awesome, and that is certainly an absolutely acceptable meal to have, and a very tasty one. But it's not the only thing that you can have, and I really want people to feel comfortable, trying a lot of different things. So I encourage you to definitely branch out, go to the butcher shop, look at some of the videos I have, or look at my Instagram. I post pictures all the time, and I try to, give you an idea about what to eat and how to cook these things. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. And, and then, you want to make sure. The other mistake I see people making is not eating enough beef. I think that people really do best when they are eating a lot of ruminant animals. And when I say ruminant animals, so that is, I guess the technical term means that they have a rumen, and they have 4 vats of a stomach, and the food is fermented as it's going through these different vats, and then that is turned into energy for them. But the benefit of these kinds of grazing animals is that they are able to take plant material that is inedible to humans. So we are not competing for the same food. They're taking plant materials that are inedible and basically turning them into a highly nutrient dense food, meat, that we then are able to eat. And so these grazing animals are animals like cows, goats, lamb, bison, elk, deer, or venison, those kinds of animals. And so they are just incredibly nutrient dense, and you tend to feel better when the bulk of what you're eating is coming from those animals. It's not to say you can't have chicken and fish and other stuff, but you want to make sure that the bulk is coming from that, and then add other stuff for flavor. Hey, melanated meat fueled mama. Wow, that is a mouthful, but I love that name. Is that you, Katora? I like that name though. Mr. Bogglesworth says, so I suck at cooking. How would you make natural carnivore gravy? Do you just let it reduce in the crock pot? Yeah, actually, letting stuff reduce is, a fantastic trick. And so something that can go from being a very watery but beefy tasting broth can become quite thick and gelatinous and really become an amazing gravy. So yes, absolutely do let stuff reduce in the pan. And then also, so I always take the pan drippings or whatever is left over after cooking, and usually, there's, I guess you would call it fond. So after you're frying stuff in the pan or cooking stuff, there's brown, drippings that are in the pan. And so I have an immersion blender, and so blending those together can make it really tasty. But it's not going to emulsify unless you add something that helps it to emulsify. And usually what people use is an egg yolk. Just like as you would make mayonnaise, the egg yolk is part of what makes the whole thing, the fat and the water, hold together in the form as we know it as mayonnaise. So I have never done that successfully, but I've seen other people do it successfully and make a very thick and creamy gravy. So I recommend you try that and see how that goes. Yeah. So if you've ever made mayonnaise, it can be quick, but it is not always easy, and it often breaks. Not always, but often breaks for me. So that is, it is a slightly higher level operation. This is not cooking 101, but it is quite tasty. So that's what I would recommend. Melanated meat fueled mama says, yum, that sounds good. Never thought about making a gravy. Yeah, gravies are actually, that's a really awesome way to, well, of course, increase your fat, but just increase the flavor and take something that's kind of humdrum, sort of humdrum, and make it really spectacular. So I would definitely try that. And actually, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. This week I made smash burgers, and I thought they were amazing. I had tried to make it before, and I think what I had done before was not put enough fat in the pan so that the burger was cooking on a dry pan, and that is what created a problem. But this time I had enough fat in there, I smashed them down. They looked just like smash burger. They tasted great. So I was really, really proud of myself. And the only thing I had was one of those cast iron meat press things. So, that pushed it down flat and I left it on. So I highly recommend it. It did completely smoke out my house. So, I had the windows open and everything, but it was definitely worth it. So again, Mr. Bogglesworth, the ingredients are not complicated, but, it is perhaps a, cooking 102 class, it requires a little bit more skill, but not a whole lot of new material. So I hope that helps to answer some questions, and, let me know if you have any other questions. I know we have a lot of new people in the group, and I really want to see people succeed and take back their health and, just get all of the benefits of a carnivore diet. And, you know, to be honest, when I think about what is, you know, what are the benefits of a carnivore diet? Uh, you know, one, of course, it's all the benefits of being in, you know, on a ketogenic diet. And, you know, I do like to remind people carnivore is a keto diet. So we're all still in ketosis. We care about being in ketosis. You know, a lot of the health benefits that we're getting are coming from being in ketosis. So that's important to us, and you know that's definitely one of the benefits of being on carnivore. But the other one that I see that I don't think you necessarily get on keto is that it can reduce your inflammation to an all-time low. And when I say inflammation, I feel like a lot of times people are thinking, oh yeah, you know, my rings are tight, or, you know, my ankles look like hankles, or, you know, my feet are swollen at the end of the day. I don't just mean that kind of inflammation, but I also mean, you know, all the inflammation throughout your body. So, you know, any kind of autoimmune disease is causing inflammation, and is made worse by inflammation. So asthma, you know, is inflammation in the lungs, and then allergies is inflammation, you know, throughout your nose and your eyes and all of that kind of stuff. Eczema, again, it's inflammatory problem on your skin, and inflammation even affects your brain and therefore your mental health. And so when you have inflammation in the brain, that's actually causing damage in your brain. And when I say damage, I mean, you know, cells are dying. So that's not good. So the inflammation contributes to, you know, your mental health, to things like memory. They are now calling Alzheimer's, you know, type 3 diabetes. So, you know, inflammation is actually a really big deal. It's not just, you know, a little extra water making your skirt tight. So I think that, you know, carnivore is so amazing because it's really forcing that inflammation to come down, and you're really removing all of the things that are contributing to the irritation that is, you know, is causing that inflammation. And then once you do that, you can discover how amazing you can feel, and then, you know, from there you decide, you know, how amazing you want to feel, and how worth it those foods are that you have been eating that, you know, made you feel bad. So yeah, that's, you know, those are the choices there. Let's see. So Mr. Bogglesworth, I'm sorry. I feel like I gave you very complicated things to do. I guess I would start by trying to make baconaise. That is a pretty common thing. And, you know, and that is definitely very tasty, generally made with you know, the fat rendered from bacon. And I think that is because it stays more, it doesn't get as solid as tallow, so you're able to really mimic that texture of mayo. So I would recommend that. And then Dion says, is it okay if I buy any kind of red meat, or should I just stick with grass-fed? You should just get the best quality meat you can afford and that you have access to. So no, I don't think you have to get grass-fed. I definitely eat regular ground beef and regular beef from the supermarket. I have, you know, no problem with it. You know, you should just get the best that you can afford and have access to, and then, you know, you're okay. I do think that this way of eating is much healthier than whatever you were doing before. So there may be further incremental benefits that you get from eating grass-fed food, but, you know, you've already taken yourself from, you know, 60% all the way up to 97%. So I don't know that it's worth it to go to really, you know, push to get all the grass-fed and go from 97% to 98%, let's say, you know. So that, you know, only you can make that determination. A lot of times too, I feel like with our food supply, I don't really know what we're getting, you know, and you know, unfortunately, I mean, you just heard, you know, that story about Belcampo. I don't know, you know, so I don't know. If you can, you know, then yeah, do it. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Okay, let's see. Divine Diva says, new to carnivore, down 12 pounds in 2 weeks. think I need to cut out dairy. Um, Wait, why? Uh, well, if you're down 12 pounds in 2 weeks, that's pretty amazing, and that suggests that you had some inflammation going on. Um, but why do you think you need to cut out dairy? I mean, if it's unrelated to the weight loss, then sure, give it a try. But losing 12 pounds in 2 weeks is awesome. You shouldn't feel bad about that at all. And your inflammation has improved so much, so that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Um, and melanated meat fueled mama says the best. What's the best part of carnivore? I don't know. There's like a million best parts of carnivore. I guess bringing the inflammation down is the best part. That's certainly one of the best parts of carnivore. But for me, I think the best part of carnivore was given total freedom to eat beef, and fatty beef at that. All my life, I've loved beef. So whenever given the option of what I could eat, I was always going to choose the beef option. And and that was actually a point of contention with my mom. She was always trying to get me to at least try other things, or have just mix it up. And it was just like, why? Like, I already know what the best thing in the world is, and nothing is going to exceed that in terms of taste and and how it made me feel. And I guess I mean, I certainly didn't identify and think about how it made me feel when I was a kid, but I knew I just knew that it was the right thing for me, and I didn't feel hungry or unsatisfied after eating it. So the best part about carnivore for me was just given validation and the freedom to just knock myself out with beef. And now that I have been doing I've been running this maximum weight loss program, and I'm actually going to continue it. So if you are interested in really focusing on and getting the accountability and the assistance to focus on the weight loss, definitely reach out to me, send me a DM on Instagram. But what what I've been doing with that, it is a lower fat program. And that's actually been really kind of fun, because it's given me more freedom to try more parts of the animal without feeling like, I'm aiming for, this super high amount of fat. And, and so I've tried different parts of the animal and eaten differently. But I think, I definitely feel a benefit to, to eating more protein and to eating less fat. So I actually do think that's a really amazing way to go. So if you're interested in, getting into it in detail and asking me about it, definitely send me a message and we will focus on that. So let's see, melanated meat fueled mama says, zero carb equals zero inflammation. Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing else, nothing else short of like water fasting or dry fasting. Dry fasting probably is the gets you the lowest, then water fasting, and then eating carnivore. But I don't want to fast all the time. So no better way than carnivore. Okay. And then, so Divine Diva says you're down 12, but stuck the last several days. You've noticed sneezing when you have it. Okay, so if you're noticing sneezing, then yeah, you got to take out dairy. Maybe later on down the road, you'll be able to have a little, without it being a big deal. But if you've noticed sneezing, it's a problem. But if you're down 12 pounds, but you've been stuck for several days, down 12 pounds in 2 weeks is amazing. So, your weight being stable for a few days is not a big deal at all. And weight loss is really not that fast. So I know sometimes people think, when I was on keto, in the beginning, people were aiming to be under 50 grams, and then people were aiming to be lower and lower. And the idea was that, the lower you went in your carbohydrate grams, the faster the weight loss was, and the more effective the weight loss was. And, so people just kind of kept getting more and more extreme. And so I think that people kind of come to carnivore with the idea, well, if I cut out all the carbs, and I'm totally zero carb, then I'll lose weight even faster. But that's not really what happens, on carnivore. I think what ends up happening is that, your body really starts the process of healing in a very significant way. And so you often will find, your inflammation will plummet. You might find yourself getting stronger and more dense and, perhaps more muscular, but even if not more muscular, just stronger. Parts of your body are getting rebuilt and are more, just you're just getting healthier. And so with all that healing, that's great, but you may feel like, oh man, I'm not losing weight, but in fact you might still be losing a lot of fat, and you're just not seeing it on the scale. So I wouldn't jump to conclusions that you haven't lost weight, and also you're not really going to lose fat in days like that. If you're losing weight that quickly in days, it's usually water or the worst case scenario, losing muscle, which you absolutely do not want to do. You want to be losing fat only. We want to keep all of our muscle. Okay, so beef is good, and I loved when my dad made steak, but my mom, easier us not eating beef or pork. I guess your mom didn't want you all eating that much meat. Jocelyn says, are you planning to have any more challenges? I am stalled, been exercising nearly every day, but not seeing the results. So probably not another challenge. And, it was, I'm trying to juggle a lot of things on my plate, but, I'd certainly be happy to chat with you and see what's going on and, try to figure things out and have a conversation. But I definitely think it's helpful to periodically check in and, get some support and, figure out how to, get that as kind of accountability. And sometimes just a review of what we're doing. I will say that it is helpful, I think, to track. A lot of times we think we're doing one thing, but in reality, perhaps we're eating more fat, more food than we think we are. And so just getting a sense of where you are is sort of a reality check. It helps you to, kind of understand what you're doing. And I know that's sort of an anathema. Part of the thing that people love about carnivore is you don't have to count anything. You don't have to deal with macros. You don't have to do all of that stuff. And I totally agree. I love that aspect of it. But, it is helpful to understand where you are and then be able to figure out if you start to make adjustments or experiment. You don't really know what's working because you don't really know where you started. So that can be helpful. And let's see. Oh, I see. Melanated meat-filled mama. Your mom raised you, and so you didn't know what you were missing. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I definitely enjoyed getting to a barbecue. That was when I got really good meat. But my mom, one of her specialties was she would take chicken breast, like a whole one, not cut in half even, and put like mayo and Dijon mustard on top of it and put it in the oven and broil it. Whew, I hated that. But that was dinner. Yeah. So, let's see, melanated. Jimmy C says, best part of carnivore, I couldn't be more happy with my progress. Started out at 527, now 390. Still have a lot to go, but I love this diet. No more insulin. That is amazing. I mean, that's like the top reason to do this. And I didn't realize how expensive insulin is. So, getting rid of that is like, I mean, following a keto or carnivore diet is like money in the pocket. I had somebody telling me that they, there was a couple of months when, their insurance was lost. So they didn't have the money to, they didn't have all of their medical stuff covered. And so it was, the cost of the insulin was $3,000 a month. And so, the woman ended up going on keto as a way to save, because she just couldn't afford to pay all of that diabetes, pay for the insulin that was necessary. And of course I thought that was incredibly appalling that we live in a country where that could happen. You just don't have insurance, can't pay for the medicine, even if it's life sustaining, and there you go, you're just kind of left like that. But thank God there is the option of keto, and you are able to manage, or at least if not get off of it altogether, or at least lessen it. So that is that's definitely something to think about. Divine Diva says, makes sense, thank you, I need to be patient. Yes, be patient. But a lot is happening. Every single day while you're on carnivore. So, I encourage you to scan from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. What are the changes happening? And you might be really surprised to see, your sinuses have cleared, your skin is cleared, you're not getting acne like you used to, dandruff is gone, your hair is stronger and it's growing faster, your nails are stronger, your skin is looking tighter, you don't have as many wrinkles, your digestion is amazing, your breathing is easy, and just kind of keep going through your whole body, and that will keep you reminded a lot is happening as you do this diet, even if the fat is not coming off at the speed that we want it. But I want to lose 50 pounds by tomorrow as well. It just unfortunately doesn't happen, but a lot of amazing stuff is happening. And look at Jimmy ZC. I mean, he's gone from 527 pounds to 390 pounds. That is an amazing accomplishment. And honestly, I don't think that I could have done it any other way. I've tried a lot of different diets and really not had success on any of them but doing keto. That is the only way that I was able to consistently, not eat junk food, not eat stuff that was just passably healthy, and get to the point where I'm really thriving off of the food that I'm eating. So let's see, melanated, oh yeah, great job, Jimmy. And Jocelyn says, do I think intermittent fasting helps to promote weight loss? So I think it can. I think you have to be really careful. Some people are really triggered by not eating, and it can cause you to end up eating way more food in total, more often, and you can find it longer to kind of get rebalanced. So that's something to really consider. So if that's you, maybe fasting isn't for you. But as long as you're able to get in, the amount of calories and the amount of protein you need, then I think it can be a useful tool. And and certainly I think all of us, regardless of whether you're fasting or not, should be getting ourselves to the point where once we finish dinner, we don't eat again until breakfast. And that could be 14 hours, that could be, 12 hours, it could be 16 hours, it could be 18 hours. Well, maybe 18 is a little long, but anywhere between 12 and 16 hours, should be the norm for everybody. And I don't know, I wouldn't consider that fasting. It's just, taking a break from eating between dinner and breakfast. So going beyond that, then you kind of have to see whether that actually works for you, because in theory it can really it can help, because you're not eating, and look, calories do matter. They're not everything, but they do matter. So if you are not eating a certain amount of calories, then that can help you to lose weight. But if you are going to then rebound and eat a lot more, it might not actually balance out in the way that you want it to. So, so I don't know, and I do really feel like when I see people doing a lot of fasting to lose weight, it ends up becoming, it starts to look more like disordered eating than it does like a healthy, a healthy addition to the lifestyle. So, you want to be careful with that. And then, of course, if you're doing a lot of fasting and you're not a person that can eat a lot, you might end up having more of a problem, because you're not staying on top of the protein and nutrient needs that you have. And those are significant. As the older we get, the worse our body is at like using protein. So older people have actually a higher need for protein than younger people do. So you really don't want to ever be in a position where you can't, you're not actively eating enough protein. And, and our needs can, we can tolerate, or let's say accommodate a lot of protein before you get to the point where there's diminishing returns, or you're just wasting protein that you that you're eating, that because your body's not able to use it. So I definitely think that it is a better idea to to eat in such a way that you can be sure that you're getting a significant amount of protein, and that may or may not be possible in one meal a day or 1 4-hour feast in a day. I don't know. I find it difficult, and I don't know. I kind of decided I don't want to eat a lot of food at one time. I don't like that feeling. So I don't know. So you tell me, Jocelyn, how that's working for you, and everybody else in here in the audience. I'd love to hear how fasting is working for you. I think it's a bit of a mixed bag, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's it can be a challenge. But not everybody is like a sugar addict like me, and grew up, with all kinds of, going on all kinds of diets and just having generally a disordered kind of approach to food. So, so that's me. But other people, seem to do fine, can handle, some sugar and don't go wild. I know if I started dipping my, a little spoon in honey and adding it to coffee and stuff, like it would start with like a spoon, and then by day 2, like I'd be finishing the whole bottle of the honey. So there you go. Winspiration for all. Thank you so much for this super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I hope I'm, dropping some helpful information here and helping, anybody, have more information and more inspiration to continue on. And in fact, I'm have a few more podcast episodes that are ready to come out. So that is I'm restarting that, and I'm actually going to do it. I'm gonna put them on YouTube. So I'm sorry, and certainly to my patrons at Patreon, I can't keep up with all the content creation, and so I am going to turn off the Patreon, and I will load up the interviews and put them on YouTube, so you will all be able to see them. So yeah, I saw some thumbs up, so clearly you guys really want to see them again. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to having them premiere live, and you will be able to watch them like that, because I really did enjoy sort of being in the chat with you all and being able to talk. That was a lot of fun. So I think that's what's going to go back to happening on Tuesday. I on Tuesdays, and I believe that I will do that at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I do a Clubhouse room at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, so I don't know. I might leave you all at the end of the chat. I might, I don't know. I might try to start it earlier. You tell me. Is 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time too early for you all? I don't know, what time people get home from work and eat dinner and, do whatever they're going to do. So I'd love to actually get your input. So put it in the chat or, send me a message or whatever. But yeah, I want to bring that back and go back to doing the live premieres. That was a lot of fun. Let's see. Melanated Meat Fueled Mama says, I agree. Tracking was helpful to me. I go back and forth with doing it though. I don't know that you have to do it all the time, but I think that it's helpful to check in and see what you're doing, and then you can decide how you want to go forward. So over time, you can kind of get used to how much, how much food is, like what you're eating, how many ounces it is, and you can kind of tell this stuff by sight and how fatty it's going to be or how lean it's going to be. So as you learn that information, your behavior can change. And as I was, talking about the maximum weight loss program that I'm doing, in the beginning, there is tracking because you do have to kind of figure those things out. But as you learn what are the leaner pieces of meat, how much fat is in them, how do you feel after eating them, how much do you need to eat in order to feel satisfied, that information is going to, lead you, that's going to help you and guide you. So, after that program is over, as you continue to work on losing weight, you continue to have this information and you can sort of make adjustments without having to do a whole lot of tracking. So, so I think it's important to do, but it's not necessarily a forever thing. Danielle says, hey Danielle, says we definitely ate all of the meat, but we always had veggies and plenty of starches, rice especially, negating the benefits of the meat. Well, it doesn't negate the benefits of the meat, but it causes its own problems that wouldn't have been there if you weren't eating it. So, the more, I think it's important to note that the more meat that you eat, the better. No matter how you're eating, even if you're eating a junky diet, like that meat that you eat, and that if you only ate from McDonald's and you're, eating like all the big burgers and whatnot, those little patties that are in there, that's the most nutrient dense part of your day. And that is what's like keeping you alive and keeping you going. So, the bun, the sauce, the ketchup, all of that stuff is detracting from your health, but the meat that's in there is, it's always good. So adding more meat, I don't know, I think it's a good idea generally for people to just start adding more meat because it is more filling, it's more satisfying, and it will help you to feel better and stronger. And as people start to do that, they then naturally start to, it starts to edge out some of the other food in the diet. Now, Snickers bars and ice cream, you may have to make a more determined effort to remove those from the diet, but, you might end up eating less rice and bread and stuff if you're eating more, of the meat and stuff. Okay. So, Vanette says, no more gooey eyes for me. Yeah, that's quite a picture you painted. That's good. No more. Reducing that and all kinds of inflammation that happens in the night is amazing. Carol says, I started keto 1 year ago and lost 50 pounds. Yes, congratulations. And I've been carnivore for 1 month now. What I'm seeing is that I really don't like food anymore. I eat because I have to, not because I want to. I don't know, Carol, I wonder if you are not getting enough fat, because if you are eating too much lean, and especially it can take time to transition to carnivore and and really feel optimal on it. So you might need more fat, because if you are not getting enough calories, you're just going to feel unenthusiastic about eating the meat. So tell me, what kind of meat are you eating on carnivore? Is it lean stuff, or is it very fatty? Let's see. Vanette says, I do not fast. However, after eating dinner around 6, I don't eat again until 10:30 or 11 a.m. the next day. Yeah, excellent. So you don't have to think about that as fasting. That's just normal. But, it is I think a 16-hour fast. So, it fits within the intermittent fasting protocol, but it definitely is... that can just be, sort of your normal MO. So, I think with carnivore, a lot of the, veteran carnivores talked about, in the earlier days, not to fast, just to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full and eat again. And if you aren't hungry for 12 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, you weren't hungry. It's not fasting. You just chose not to eat until you were hungry. So you can think about it like that. So you might end up, fasting by an external person's view of what you're doing, but you're just eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full and not eating again until you're hungry again. Okay, so Melanated Meat Fueled Mama says, fasting saved my life when I first started my weight loss journey. I was doing fasting and sort of low carb, and I lost over 100 pounds. But today, I don't do extended fast as much. Yeah. So, and fasting can, of course, be useful at different points of your journey. So it might be really helpful in the beginning, and it might not feel as good, as you get closer to your goal. So you just kind of have to, judge for yourself how you feel on it. Yeah, I don't know. And I guess I seem to do better with fasting before or earlier, but it's just, I find it very challenging now, and I don't know if challenging is a good thing. I don't know. I guess as I get older, I don't want to do things that are hard. I want to do things that are growth opportunities, and that are, that will help me to, to do better, to be healthier. But I don't want to do things that are hard, because I feel like those things are just kind of beating my body up rather than helping me to, to grow and expand in a way that is positive. So I don't know, somehow fasting has slipped into that category now, where it's just hard. So I really do try to pay attention to eating when I'm hungry and stopping when I'm full, and just letting that be the guide, whatever that ends up being. But that's just my philosophy. Let's see. And now I don't do extended fast as much, and I'm down about 40 more pounds. Wow. Wow, you have lost 140 pounds? That is amazing. Have I just missed you posting your before and after pictures, or where can I see? Because that is really, really amazing, and I am so proud of you and so impressed. That's just really amazing. Okay, Mommy Does Keto. Hey, so glad you are here. Welcome. And Jimmy ZC says, I started this diet January 6, 2020, and was eating 3 times a day. Around August, I started OMAD, and it's been great. I don't eat as much as I used to, maybe 1.5 pounds a day. It seems to be working out so far. That's amazing. Yeah. So, you like you said, you kind of got to figure out what is, what's comfortable and what's working for you. So if you are doing OMAD, it's working for you, you like it, you like the food that you're eating, then, you're good. That's all you need to do. And anyway, while I'm talking, please, there's quite a few people in here, so can you hit that like button, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so you can get notification every time I go live. Okay, and Carol says, I also fast, but I'm not excited about anything in the fridge, but I feel great. Well, tell me what's in the fridge. I mean, you might not have good stuff in the fridge. I know I get very excited when I have flank and cut short ribs. And I'm going to share this next week, actually. This week I made salmon croquettes, and I deep fried them in tallow. And oh my God, they were so good. Even now I'm thinking, man, I know there's like histamines in cans of fish, but I think I should get another can of fish and eat and make this again. I mean, it was so, so good. So I'm curious as to what you have in the fridge, because, maybe you just don't like it. Mr. Bogglesworth, oh my God, thank you so much for the super sticker. That is so awesome. And you say, thanks for being you, with hearts popping out of your eyes. Oh, that is so sweet. Look at that. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I love all of the support that I get from everybody on this channel, and I couldn't be here without you. I couldn't be a channel or a platform without you. So I'm really glad that all of you are here and, chugging along with your carnivore programs and getting really strong and healthy and losing weight. That makes me so happy to see. Let's see, Winspiration for All says, I used to fast a lot when I was vegan, but I don't feel the need to fast on carnivore. Oh, wow. That must have been really hard to fast while being vegan, because you're already, in a sense, fasting by not eating the meat. So that must have been really hard and, hard on the body, but awesome. So I can't wait to put your story out there too. Your vegan to carnivore story. And I think, there's probably quite a lot of, a lot in our community who've gone from vegan to carnivore. And I know so many of us, were told like this was the healthy way to go. And so decided to give it a try. We read some stuff by Dr. Sebi or, many of the other, sort of vegan influencers or health influencers, and it's hard. It's hard when there's a lot of information being being thrown to us or pushed to us that suggests that that a vegan diet is the healthiest thing you can do. But I can't help but notice the people that I know who have been vegan, they've gone vegan for a while, they just don't look good. They look older, more tired, aging, not as vibrant. And the thing I notice most when as I work with people who go on carnivore, the first things that happen is the eyes clear up. The skin gets much brighter. And, I don't know if it's, less wrinkles or what, but it's just like, the skin sort of fills out and looks brighter and not dull. And, eyes look brighter and not dull. And there just seems to be a lightness or a weight lifted in terms of people's moods. And all of that goes, a long way to making you look much more healthy and vibrant. And so that's what I see. And the people I see who go vegan, I don't see that. That does not happen in the long term. That's something they seem to lose a lot by going vegan, a lot faster than, even the regular population. Like, I feel like they have a downturn that's even more steep than if, they had just stayed eating the regular standard American diet. So those are my concerns. Melanated meat-fueled mama, you didn't post them in the group. Well, that's okay. You don't need to. But I am very impressed and very proud of what you've done, and so, so happy for you. Jimmy ZC says exactly, Ada. Yeah, definitely. Oh, you made salmon patties too. Awesome. Yeah, they were so delicious. But I will tell you, they, the way so I mix in 3 egg yolks into a can of fish, and then I actually this time didn't even bake them first. I just put them in the pan and deep fried them. And they came out so crispy on the outside. And there was a lot of moisture because of the oil, and when I would bite into it, it really had that crisp texture, like crunchy, and I was like, man, this is so good. The only thing it needs is some kind of dipping sauce. So if I had something that was similar to a tartar sauce, or some kind of like I don't know, some kind of aioli, like that's just what it needed. So Mr. Bogglesworth, when I get you on the dip or the sauce, that can really help a lot. I didn't add any this time, but I don't know. That's something to think about. I got to figure out a sauce thing that'll work. Yeah, and then. Yeah, Mr. Bogglesworth, you see this all the time in our community. Folks swear red meat is terrible and grass is the way to go. Yeah. It's really frustrating, and I don't really, I don't know. And I feel like, people are pretty convinced. And so it's hard to have a conversation with people who are really convinced. It's only when they start feeling bad that, you're able to maybe have a window and get in there. But I don't really know how to push back other than to support other vegans who are other ex-vegans who are talking about it. Let's see. Okay, so a friend of yours has an autoimmune condition because of vegan diet and lack of B vitamins, and it has discolored her skin, and it makes you so sad. She won't stop because she is building a brand around her way of life. Oh man. Yeah, that's the thing. And that is really hard to hear, and I'm very sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, and there are those vegans who didn't one of them get exposed earlier this year when she was caught eating fish. There are those who decide they just can't go on. They need to eat meat. So I don't know. I hope that she will see and that she will try it. I'm putting out a video soon, an interview soon with a person who has gone from vegan to carnivore, and I hope that message goes far and wide and that it is convincing for people, because it's a very similar issue. And and as you follow a diet like that, and people think that it is a healthy thing to do, so they look to you as a leader or an inspiration, and so people feel a greater sense of responsibility to kind of stick with it, and that can end up causing a person to really ignore significant signs that their health is suffering from eating that way. Okay, and Jimmy ZC, oh, you fried your fish patties in bacon grease, so it was delicious. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it was so good, man. If you're getting tired of beef burgers, I highly recommend you try some fish burgers. It was good stuff. Winspiration, we are glad you are here and healing. So that makes me very, very happy indeed. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think that it is time to, to bring this to a close. But next week, make sure you come back, because Ari and I are going to talk about quick meals on a carnivore diet. I know, I talk about making brisket and oxtails and things that require a long time to cook. But we want to talk about meals that you can put together quickly, and he's got an epic list, so you definitely want to hear that. And I'm gonna share some recipes. I would like to just kind of keep sharing some of the things that I've made, so that you all can get a sense of how to do it. So I'm going to share my, my salmon croquettes recipe definitely. And I hope that you will enjoy it. So definitely make sure on Tuesday, where I'm going to do the live premiere of an interview, not the specific one I was talking about just now. And then on Thursday, we're going to have the live stream. Aaron's going to be back, and we are going to be talking about quick meals on a carnivore diet. And Island Girl, thank you. Yes, it was my birthday, so thank you for the happy birthday. Thank you, Mommy Does Keto, for the birthday wishes. I really appreciated it. And Melanated Meat Fueled Mama says, yes, I need this topic. Can't wait to see you all next week. Yeah, I think we all need a little help with, quick meals and making it tasty and making it good. So definitely tune in, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so thank you all for sticking with me tonight. I had a great time, and really excited to be able to share, this kind of information with you, and hope that it is helpful. We have Anna chimed in. It can be difficult. I have a flatmate who has been vegan her whole life, but it's like people who are morbidly obese with good blood work. You may be fine for now, but how is this going to shorten life? Yeah, that's a great point. Thank you, Inspirational. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you. Yeah, that is a great point, Anna. Although I would say that, when you're young, there's a certain amount of resilience that you have as a young person. But, when I start to see the decline, I mean, there's certainly decline at a younger age, but, I guess I feel like I'm starting to see that decline happening when people start hitting 40 and 50 and they're still doing vegan, or they start doing vegan. That's when it really seems to accelerate. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like, except for those horrible stories of, kids who like really malnourished and everything, I feel like you can do a lot of things wrong, in your teens and 20s and still, turn out like okay. But as you get older, like, you just can't do that. So I don't know, who's to say, Anna, that, in another 10 years, your roommate is going to go, that decline too, when you're on vegan, can be very fast. It's like, everything seems to be fine, and then boom, like there's, a total health crisis. So not that I would wish that on anybody, but, who's to, you don't know. It could be that there's all this stuff happening underlying that you don't see, as vitamins and minerals are being depleted and not being replaced because they're not bioavailable in the foods that they're eating. And then one thing happens and like their whole body just kind of falls apart. So anyway, things to think about. But I had a wonderful conversation tonight, and I look forward to catching up with you all again. Have a great one, a great weekend. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, and I will see you soon. All right.